Hey guys, this is Zach with Team Covenant. I am at the Game Cafe in Independence, Missouri, and I am with the Netrunner 2014 regional finalists, Steven and Sasha. Congratulations, you guys, on a very well-fought day. I mean, it was wild.
It was an epic day, man. It was completely epic.
Start off, tell me what you guys are running, and we'll go from there. So
we gotta let the champion go.
What were you running? By the way,
Steven
Steven is the champion.
Spoiler
So congratulations to Steven, and congrats for making it to the final, Sasha.
Yeah.
So what were you running and why?
Well, on the court band, I was running Making News. Classic NBN, been playing NBN from the very beginning. As most people know, I'm a purist, right? So I only play NBN and for the rest of the game, probably. I've been playing Making News for a long time, and it's kind of a version of the World is Yours deck that I took to Worlds. Which it had 3 Scorched in it, and that was its splash. This one, because of Fast Track and Psycho being so significant now, wanted to expand it out to 49, get the 2 credits to trace with on mid-season, which makes that way stronger, and then get 3 Elis, because taxing ice is like, it's perfect for this deck. And that Scorch is definitely the MVP.
As seen on TV.
But you have NBN that can go both directions, right? In mid-seasons, no matter what, and then it can psycho out a deal for the game. It can psycho out an Astro and then start that chain. It can do any number of things. It can even sometimes psycho out a Breaking News just to get yourself into Scorched Earthville. So there's a lot of play there, a lot of options. You can't take anything for granted. So it's hard to play both sides. Sure. The protection side. It's kind of like a Wayland conundrum. Just more NBN.
Sounds familiar, yep.
And then on the runner side was Noise, Siphon Recursion.
I never even got to see that.
Super hard. 3, and it was based on, so Sam Swede brought this deck to our store championship, and I was struck by it, and it kind of went off the radar. Tim played around with it a little bit, and then I was playing Reign of Chess all the way up to this morning. And then on the car ride in, I was
there for that.
This deck is this deck isn't competitive enough. Right. And Tim's like, we should build a version of the Noise Recursion deck, and that's what we did. Didn't have Hemorrhage, did a few other things differently, put some Data Suckers and Evasion in there. And
how'd that go for you?
When it gets on top of a corp, it is amazing. The deck is amazing. I think it's probably the strongest anti deck in the field right now. After playing with it today, it's just like mind blowing.
On point.
But yeah, it's the 3 Night, 3 Crypsis, 2 Corroder. So like you don't have to worry about the fat of the Anarch Suite, which is super nice.
So now you went undefeated in the top cut. Did you lose any games in the regular rounds?
Yes, lots. I lost 3 games.
What'd you lose?
I was only at 10 prestige coming out as the 7th seed.
Wow.
I didn't think I was getting into the top 8. Lost to Lucas, fantastic player. We had a pretty epic match. So I'm going into the last round on 10 prestige, which is amazing, right? The only way this could go really bad is if I get 0-4'd. And Lucas totally 0-4'd me. And it was just like dream crush.
It's like, all right, I'm done.
I was like, no. Managed to get in on strength of schedule, one of the 10 pointers that got in. And then got the rematch and managed to beat him with Noise, and then kept rolling and found myself in the finals against another rematch over here.
You guys played a couple times.
Yeah, this guy, Sasha over here, and managed to take that one too. So it was a wonderful day, but crazy. I mean, it's kind of wild, yeah.
All right, so what was up your sleeve?
So I was also playing Making News, and I mean, you hit most of it. I don't play. I just play more of traditional kind of. I've seen it pop up a lot now, where it's a lot of drip econ. So there's 3 marked accounts, 2 pad campaigns with the usual sweeps and hedge, and that mix of econ is just it powers you through pretty much any game. A couple of games I was playing, I also played Lucas, and he was just siphoning me maybe 4 times, and it just powers through. You can just stay low credits and still score out. Astro is as good as it's ever been.
It's amazing, yeah.
There are some games where if that deck draws right, if you build a good Making News deck and it draws right, you get your Caduceus out early, you get your good taxing ice out, that it's pretty unstoppable. It's I understand why people complain as much as they do about Astro.
Yeah.
The Astro train especially.
The Astro train.
Yeah.
It's tough. And that's what I was going to say, just mentioning his deck, is that having a second win condition, this is why I really do hate playing Wayland, because they for free have a secondary win condition. They have to at most splash a sea source, maybe 2, suspend 4 influence for an entire. So they can play, and Super Modernism decks are doing it really well now, where they're still trying to score. But oh, by the way, if you're not focusing 100%, you're going to lose in the second way. And it's just incredibly powerful.
So true.
All right, what were you running on the runner side?
Andromeda, because I'm just playing the cheapest,
The
dirtiest.
cheese.
It's to be fair, I siphoned, I think, exactly once this whole tournament.
Nice.
Did I? I didn't play you runner, so I siphoned exactly once this tournament.
Yeah.
Andromeda is, I think David Sutcliffe made a blog post about it. Andromeda's great. It's still amazing because she is. Desperado's amazing.
I mean, with Andy, right? Like, as long as there's good cards in your deck, seeing 9 of them is always great.
It's not bad.
So it's never going to be bad. I mean,
So-
that identity is never, you can't get mad at Andromeda, right? She's just drawing 9 cards.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a crazy identity. It's not broken or anything. I mean, if Gabe was just caning you over and over again, it's like, oh, that ability is too good. But like, Andy's just getting great cards because there's a lot of them.
It's just a good setup.
I play the fixed Anarch breakers, and between Desperado and Data Suckers and the efficiency of those breakers, if they don't really have things in their deck to disrupt your game, if they don't have program destruction, if they don't have that secondary win condition, if they're not doing debt damage, if they're not doing meat damage, they're not doing anything to stop you, because just icing up, Andy will win that battle.
So, just before this tournament, like 3 days ago, Honor and Profit hit stores everywhere.
Yeah.
So everyone was kind of like freaking out going into the first regional of the season. I'd like to get both your takes on what Honor and Profit brings to Netrunner. How much has that impacted play? And just general thoughts on the release and how it affected you today.
You want to start off, son?
Let's get the professional opinion first.
Oh, you wanted me. I think that on the Jinteki side of things, you could not ask for better, right? I saw there was 2 MedTech decks in the top 8. Tim and do you remember the guy's name? It wasn't Lucas. Yeah, it was Lucas. Lucas ran a MedTech as well, and they were running it completely differently. So different. Tim's completely different from Lucas's, and they were both supremely effective, right? Yeah. So like that alone is incredible. And then I've seen Replicating Perfection start to take off. It has play now. It can do a lot of remote server stuff. You have the other new agenda. What's the
Medical Breakthrough.
Medical Breakthrough.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. I mean, so all of these things have made Jinteki a crazily like diverse corporation. It's not just about, oh, I'm playing Jinteki, I'm going to take some net damage and try to score like Feudals at the right time. You know, it's like, man, they could be running anything, and the side game stuff is crazy. Like my initial reaction was, more like random stuff in Netrunner, but it's not random at all. It's at the best for the runner, it's a credit drain. You always bid 0. Make them pay 1 every time you hit archives to try to keep that future perfect out. I'm willing to do that, especially if I'm playing Siphon and you have 2 credits. I can hit archives 3 times and guarantee that I steal that. So, like, it's not. There's more to the side games than people I think originally thought. On the runner end, also like fast track. Great.
Oh yeah, we did.
It's so good.
How many do you play?
I play 2. Yeah. Fast track.
When you need it, it's
Fast
crazy.
track to Beal to Psycho Beal is so good. It's really good.
Or just Astro to Astro to Astro.
Well, you can't actually chain them, because if you click 1 drawing for the Astro, you can't score it out with just another Astro token. You need a Res San and an Astro, at which case
Which
you're in
does
a pretty,
happen.
Which happens, yeah.
It's true.
But it's
if
really,
you're rich,
it really shines with it. Like, I'm running 3 Psycho in my deck, and it's like, if I see a fast track and I'm at 2 points, like I can score a Beal out for 5 if you're tagged up in mid-season. It's like I can do that anytime I see fast track and I have a Psycho in hand. So it's like win condition right there. I don't know. I haven't played enough with all the other stuff to see where it's going to go in other corps, like traditional corps, and how they're going to use it. But it's going to go. Like there's going to be some weird and interesting builds. On the runner side, fantastic. Didn't make criminal better. It just made it wider. I don't think playing assault's too good. It's great, but
It is great.
It's a good criminal card, and they're all good. So it just slots right in there. You got to choose some, you know. Ken, the new runner, fantastic. Didn't see any Ian. I think that's kind of a professor type identity. I think it's waiting a little bit. Some player is going to break that card. And then who was the other new? Silhouette. Haven't seen much Silhouette, but I know that she's got play. So it's really great.
Cool.
I mean, everything's good.
Your thoughts
so
on
balanced,
HMP?
man.
You just got to mention the Jinteki Ice.
Yeah.
Inazuma,
Yes.
Pup, and Komainu are incredibly good.
What's the 9 coster? The 7th
Susanoo Mikoto.
Also great.
Yeah.
Like you can't
Super
get in a
expensive.
server without breaking
It is
the
9
7th
credits. It is 9 credits. So
How
you
is
have to.
It's crazy. Anyway,
But Inazuma for 3.
massive.
It's preposterous.
I saw a lot of pup today.
Pup. I mean, Pup is Jinteki's version of pop-up window.
And it's so flavorful.
Or, I mean, NBN just sure I'll put 3 extra ice. It's just easily taxing.
So good.
I didn't see that much Kamainu. I was expecting to see a lot of it because that card is vicious. Turn 1 Kamainu.
Yeah, see your hand.
Kevin was running a 10-in deck, and just he had a lot of easy ETR. So if you have, let's say, Ice Wall, Kamainu, credit, turn 1, you can destroy their hand and actually keep them out of the other server. Kamainu is vicious. And in PE, if you get Kamainu, what are you going to do? Access with 0 cards in your hand?
You're not going to tax.
So, Fem, I actually put Fem back into my deck because of Kamainu.
Yeah.
I was thinking there would be some Inazuma Kamainu play, and if you Fem Kamainu, it's 0 credits to break.
Yeah.
Parasite is
Just waltz
obviously Parasite's obviously a huge target for it, but it's incredibly taxing.
It's very good.
So you guys played a lot of games today.
Yes.
I mean, everyone played a lot of games, but particularly you guys went the distance.
I think I technically played the most one.
You
right?
did.
You
play
did.
the most,
You
yeah.
had to slug through the top cuts. So not even just H&P, but just the state of Netrunner in the game. I know there's a lot of people who are like, the corp's too good, and a lot of people are like, account siphon's way too good. Is there truth to that, or is it just people? What's going on? What's your perspective? Where's the game at?
All right.
I have strong feelings about this.
Yeah, and
I don't think.
Just your opinion.
Sure. And I think when you play, let's say on Octo, and you're playing with your friends, and you play against a criminal 5 times, and you get a count siphon 20 times, there's no way you're not going to go online and be like, the count siphon is the worst card.
that's the
Wrap it
best.
around,
That's the best. I wish I had like that on repeat.
It's a reasonable reaction because
Sure.
when you do get Astro Chained, when you get Siphon Chained, it's pretty much out of your hands. But it's the nature of a living card game, collectible card game, any sort of card game where draw influences the game. And there are plenty of other cards where, if you draw them in the right order, if you draw through Siphon and they don't draw ice, you're gonna have a really rough game. But again, you can. I think criminals have so many tools and are so good, and then they have account siphon. So people feel that it's too much, and I can understand that. I don't think account siphon in and of itself is too much because there are many ways to play it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so dealable. Count siphon, you can deal with a count siphon. Like on that last game, for instance.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sitting with 2 agendas in hand, 5 cards, and it's a wraparound on HQ. And I'm not touching that until Siphon hits the table. You can come into HQ all day long. It's like
So I did steal 5 agenda points.
He
on
did
it.
steal 5 points, but I didn't get Siphon that entire game. Like maybe you Siphon me and I res the Sand over here. Or maybe I start putting private contracts in my deck to recover from the Siphons and take 3 off the top. So now maybe you're only, like I'm left with 2 credits and private contracts over here. You're going to go trash that for 5? You don't have any money anymore. It's like, what are you going to do? Install your Crypsis and then put a virus counter on it, and in all that time that you're building up, it's like, I should have more money than 5 credits, right? Sweep Sweep, Hedge Fund, like, these cards are available to everybody. Sweep Sweep is nothing, like, you can splash that in anything. Every corp has great money, right? So you just use it, like, out-money them, and don't leave your HQ open. Like, always put it in there on ice on HQ. First turn, and don't res it until you get Siphon. That is it, and that single thing will shut down
really smart.
half the Siphon decks in existence. This game is so crazily balanced to me right now. Like I could not like it more where it is. But the problem is that like there's a level where Siphon is just abusive because you don't know how to play against it. And once you get above that hump and you make some deck changes and you make some playstyle changes, you just start winning.
You are still going to die to Siphon sometimes.
Yeah, you'll get some.
But you have to accept that as a fact of the game.
Yeah.
That there are good cards, and sometimes you lose to good cards, and that's not unreasonable.
It's better than losing a bad card.
It is indeed.
Absolutely.
So that's your thoughts on Siphon. Just, do you guys feel like the game's balanced?
Yeah,
it's
also
healthy?
Caprice, come on. It's not that big of a deal. Like, I get it. If Jinteki can have the money to build a giant server with Caprice and an agenda in it, it's worth 3
Then you're
points.
doing your job wrong.
Then what are you
early
doing?
game.
Like, what are you doing? And if they're doing that right now, you should have at least scored 5 points before they got there, or 3 or 4 at least. And then you hammer those centrals. You have to hammer those centrals. Let them score the remote 3-pointer. It doesn't matter. Hammer the centrals and win the game. Like, it's just you put on R&D. Okay, run R&D 2 or 3 times. Win the side game. Always bid 0. Let them pay 1 credit every single time you access. Eventually, they have no money, and then Caprice is dead.
Yeah.
Like it's not a big deal. Like I don't know. I've just heard a lot of like riots in the streets about this kind of stuff. And it's like if you just play a lot, like it's just another card.
It can get away from you. So if you're not running the remotes, if you're not forcing them to res, if you're just letting them get absurd amounts of money, any corp with an absurd amount of money is going to punish you.
Absolutely.
It happens to be Jinteki is going to punish you with
You can't
Caprice.
get anything.
It's like have fun.
I've
You just
got a
paid
big server,
7
yeah.
credits to get in, and good try.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, the last thing I have, and if you guys want to add something about it, you can. I'd be curious to know, now that you've played this many games, what changes would you make? Would you run the same decks? Would you change any cards? What edits would you make? Looking back, are there cards you wish you'd had you didn't, or card you drew that you wish you didn't have? Any thoughts on that?
For me, on the noise deck, I had 2 Armitage in there, and I didn't need them ever. It was siphon economy with maybe a sure gamble every now and again, which works. I just drew until I had it and then went. But I don't know. Maybe I'd cut them for more viruses, but it's kind of nice to have that safety blanket. It's kind of one of those weird things. Obviously, I can't complain terribly much, right?
It went all right.
Well,
I'm just curious if
everything
you
works
changed it.
Now that you've won a regional, should you change your deck completely?
NAPD contract is amazing. It's so good. It's as good as everyone thought it would be, and better probably. But I think ultimately they ran so smooth for me. How about you, Andy?
Andy.
I did a lot of testing. I played this. I basically, since I started playing, played Andy. And it's hard to crutch to get off of, but it also takes a long time to learn when you have 9 cards. What do I want to see here? How do I play this game? And then how do I play Criminal? So 95% of those cards I knew, and I was just making a few changes. I switched, put in Ninja originally to deal with Wayland program destruction. Went back to Fem because it's more of a universal solution. I thought there was going to be more red coats. Netrunner on Board Game Geek posted it's basically a big ice, big econ, Hospiroid, and it's tremendously good. It's extremely.
I think HB has huge play, but it just didn't show up.
I didn't see it at all, so I put in the E3 to combat that, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having a card that makes a difficult matchup much easier.
Difficult, yeah.
And Andy can trash a few more cards.
It's nice against Eli even too.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone splashes Eli. So if you and people, I still don't have what I think fixed breakers are going to get in trouble with really quickly is Inazuma splashing in program destruction.
I think Yogg is out.
So you have to have. It's so cost and effective too. So there's 2 face down ice, and a lot of times you have to let them. They're just not going to res the first one.
Yeah.
The first one's Inazuma. A lot of times you can assume it, or you have a lead on it, you see it in their hand, or realistically like, man, that's probably Inazuma. If the second one's Grim, if it's Ichi, if it's Komainu. The early game, the ability
You're
of the run,
broken.
it's impossible to get out. You need your Mimic out. You need a lot of sucker tokens.
Yeah.
You need your dog out.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
that's expensive.
I think Zoo Keymaster is going to get.
I'm in.
Quandary is super popular. You might just need to break it that once and get in, and then ignore the other server, find another server.
You can't pay 5 for a Yogg that breaks a 1-cost Quandary. Like, it's just so bad. You have to dig for it and then pay for it to get in? Like,
Yeah, it's wild.
it's just crazy. It's nuts.
So I actually have one more.
right.
Not last question. A lot of people watch these videos that aren't necessarily going to win a regional this year or next year, aren't going to win nationals, aren't going to win worlds. They play at their local store. When you're talking to intermediate, to inexperienced, to just normal, average, casual players, what advice would you give them? How do you get to the point where you can actually come out and do well? I know you haven't been playing very long.
I was about to say.
So how'd you do it?
Yeah, what advice do you have for those guys?
I just fell in love with the game, and I play a lot. I think a lot of people can get wrapped up in deck building and all the facets of the game, which are really interesting. But ultimately, when I started, I think I literally looked online for a post of the top 8 decks from Worlds last year, and I copied it. And then I tried playing it. And I made little tweaks as I started playing. And I focused way more on playing than deck building. And I think that's the best way to do it. I wouldn't consider myself anything more than an intermediate player, playing about 2.5, 3 months. And I think just the more games you get in, I like triple scorch, different stuff like that. I learn it by dying to it.
Sure.
So if you never
You got hit
lose
by a
to
double
it,
scorch, and then you got hit by a
by triple
scorch.
scorch, and
Yeah.
this time
should never happen.
What's better than a double focus?
So-
Triple focus.
So next time maybe I'll be more aware of it, or that's how you learn. You just play.
I mean,
it.
it's hard to protect from a triple scorch. Like,
Sure.
Maybe
I'm
you're
just
running in. You know? I don't know.
the moral of the story is even if you get triple scorch at a tournament, just play. I'd done one tournament before this, and sometimes you draw well, sometimes you don't. It's just incredibly fun to play with other people.
that's really awesome. Like, this is your second tournament. You got second at a regional. That's a really big deal.
It's impressive.
You get the right draws, it works out.
All right. So, anything else you guys?
Well, yeah, I would say like on a more technical level, two things that helped me a lot. One was when you go to build a deck, build it without any influence, right? Build a 45 card Anarch deck as best as it can be, and then go to influence. Because what a lot of people do is they'll try to like bring in things that Anarch doesn't naturally support, instead of taking all the best Anarch things and then supporting them with influence. So when you start, it's like, well, you know what Anarch has? They have viruses, they have parasites, they have a way to search them out, they have a lot of when you're tagged stuff. So how can you abuse these things that they have? And it's like, oh, if you play noise with a ton of viruses and siphon to give yourself tags and data link reversals and Joshua B, it's like, oh, well now that's turning into a very synergistic deck. So that's the first thing, is like just build it first and then throw the influence in. The second thing is looking at every play on an economic level and not like chasing things, right? So like if I'm looking at R&D, I need to think this is 7 credits for an access of 1 card. How many agendas have we seen so far? What are the odds that it's on the top of R&D? If it's low, it's not worth 7 credits. Look elsewhere or do something else that is productive. Build up your servers, make more efficient breakers, do whatever you got to do. But if you're getting in for 1, like take a look. Like always take a look. Keep the core on the defensive and make your plays as economically positive for you as possible. That's why Siphon's so good. If you can get 10 and they lose 5, that's unbelievable. That's the best swing in the game. That's why it's so popular. So just kind of train your mind a bit different. And if you're on 5 points and they're on like 2, 3, 5 even, like don't spend 14 credits to see 1 card on R&D thinking that maybe this can be the game. It's like wait and give yourself the game. Like sit back and give it to yourself. So just play it cool. I would say that's where a lot of players go wrong. Yeah.
All right. Any closing words from you guys?
I would just like to say, dude, it's been great to meet you and just hang out with you.
The games, even though I got scorched often and it hurt, it was still a lot of fun.
This is what happens at a tournament, right? It's like anytime we see each other from now on, like at a tournament or whatever, it's like, oh, dude, hey, how's it going? We know each other. So this is what we want like Netrunner to be about. It's what we want these games to be about. Is like let's build this community and keep it positive. Like less bickering and less like, oh, the game is broken, and more let's talk about how awesome the game is and how we can make it better as a community, right? And I think that's what it's about, yeah.
I would really encourage people not to be intimidated by tournaments or that word. I know a lot of people are thinking we're going to have some super serious guys who do nothing but play all day and all night. And they've been playing for 6 years, and they're going to get really mad if you don't know. Tim, basically, he let me take back a tournament illegal move.
Yeah.
It was deep into the top 8, and I was just, after playing so long, I was just doing the math in my head and making sure to count out the clicks, and he lets me take it back. And it's just that kind of stuff that people are really nice, and it's a lot of fun, and don't be intimidated by the word tournament.
The word tournament.
The word tournament.
Well, congrats to both of you. I'm sure we'll see much more of you.
Thanks, man.
In many more finals. So cheers, rock on, and we'll see you soon.
All right, thanks.